All right, we'll get going here. It's 8:01, already late. And we have a big show, lots of people. So I have to be brief, apparently. Stinks. All right, so welcome to the, what are we on? Four or five Coffee with Carlsen. We have, after this, one more in February. Remember, we're not doing one in March, so hopefully that will work out. We'll be playing instead of doing Coffee with Carlsen. Wanted to welcome everybody. I thought I saw John Cheney. Did he sneak out, in and out? He had a phone call, so probably he oversees football now, so I'm sure it's a football coach calling him, so that's fine. He's going to sneak in a minute here, I'm sure, but appreciate him being here. And also wanted to say a great, fun welcome to all the snowbirds who aren't here. So everybody turn around and look at that camera right there and wave to everybody. Hey, snowbirds. We miss you. All right, so that's great. Okay, so a few upcoming events, and Sally, I didn't write this down, so you can get a pen. Here you go. You need a pen? No? Okay. So we have a lot of home games coming up that I want you to pay attention to. The next one is when? Tomorrow. Yeah, it's tomorrow. Really do need people to bring as many friends as they can. I know Bob doesn't have any friends, and that's okay. Or they're all at that table. But really try to get a great crowd for Wednesday night. We moved it to 6 o'clock. Remember, all our Wednesdays are at 6 o'clock to hopefully get a little more families, a little earlier for everybody. So hopefully that's going to work out. January 20th is Star Wars Day, and Ruth did show up for Star Wars Day on the 6th like she was told to. I appreciate you. We had a little administrative issue that I couldn't get through over the break, so we are going to have it again on the 20th. So you can wear your shirt again. And I've heard we're having a costume contest that I'm going to win, so I'm excited about that. You get a poster for if you give a book. All right, so you have to give a book to get the Star Wars poster, and I've heard it's really cool. I think Courtney and Maya are both on the poster. It's pretty cool. January 31st is we play Miami at home. It's a midweek game. Just a heads up, Six-Man Grill is going to be actually, Coach is going to speak up in the Nelson. We're going to have a networking event for the DeKalb Chamber up there. We did this last year. We've done it every year she's been here. So you'll miss her on the 31st unless you go to that event. You can sign up to the Chamber. It's $35. And then the 10th is our first doubleheader, February 10th, with the men. We haven't had any doubleheaders yet. Nope, we had the one. We did have the one, the midweek. Right. I know, that was not by design, that midweek doubleheader. But that's Everyday Heroes Day, so that should be a special day. We're going to do some starting lineup stuff, and that's going to be really super cool. I want to talk a little bit about Puerto Rico, and now Coach will talk about the basketball part. But some of you, we talked at Six-Man Grill the other day, whenever that game was. We had a really great time. What was special about Puerto Rico is we were able to go down and do some humanitarian efforts. We visited a Boys and Girls Club. The student athletes wrapped presents and gave them to the young people there. And it was super cool. Dave Rasmussen, one of our donors, was able to attend with us, and it was really neat to see all that. The kids engaged with kids, and it was super fun. So another thing, obviously, going to Puerto Rico, we were able to get some money back into the economy there, and they are recovering. So it'll be interesting to see how that place is a year from now. If anybody wants to vacation down there with me, I'll be going back about the same time. I want to talk a little bit about the trip last week. Again, Coach Carlsen is going to talk about basketball, but what I wanted to talk about, we were able to go to Toledo this past weekend. I love going to Toledo. Actually, the genesis of this event happened while I was sitting at the Toledo game, whatever that was, 6 or 7 years ago. And I thought, wow, they're doing a great thing for women's basketball. They had 3,000 fans at the game, which I think was really cool for us. But a little intimidating, but super, super cool to play in kind of that kind of crowd. And that's obviously what we've been trying to build here since we've kind of started making sure we're engaging our fans. But really kind of that's to me and the MAC, not only from a basketball standpoint, from a fan standpoint, really something that I think we should aspire to get to. And we've always talked about this. This has happened before, right? When did it happen, right? Chick Evans, right? In the 90s, and Jane Albright was here. So I know we can do it with the Snowbirds coming back. I know we can make that happen. So every time I go to Toledo, I find out something new that they're doing that I want to try here. So stay tuned. I have a list of about 6 things. I don't want to overload Coach Carlsen, but stay tuned for that. All right, so now I'm supposed to introduce Lisa. This is a fun part for me. Obviously we've gone through a little bit of adversity. Maya's going to get up here and talk about it as far as the injuries go. But what I really love about this team and what Lisa's been able to bring here is, despite the fact that we are short a couple of student athletes, what's really great is that there's like, okay, well now now who's going to step up, right? And I think that seems to permeate through the culture of the team. And it also, to me, it permeates through the culture of our fans. Again, so people bringing friends, courtside lighting up, getting excited, and really giving us an opportunity to do really well in women's basketball. So I know Lisa's going to talk about it, and I know you hear from her because I can't talk about basketball. So Lisa Carlsen, thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody had an awesome holiday. I know we did. You know, it's interesting, over the holiday it's a little bit different for our student athletes because it's much shorter. We went to Puerto Rico, came back, and they had 4 or 5 days off before we really get back at it. So it seems like the holiday was a long, long time ago, but actually the student athletes are back to school tomorrow. So it's been a lot going on from a basketball standpoint before they get back to school, but I know they're a little bit excited to get back into a routine. I do want to, I'm going to get an opportunity to introduce Sam and Kim, but Sud is here again. I always like to point out that the other head coaches that are here, because this is one of those events that, again, I think is great from a fan interaction standpoint. It's not just women's basketball. Obviously, they're Husky fans, so thank you guys for being here. You know, Deborah talked about Puerto Rico. From the last time that we were together, we played SIUE, which they have since gone on quite a tear and won a lot of ball games. But we went to Edwardsville and won, which there's a lot of side stories there. So the head coach at Edwardsville was somebody that I worked with a long, long time ago. That's where I got my start in coaching. She actually hired me. The University of Nebraska Omaha as her first assistant when I was coaching softball. And so Paula and I go back a long, long ways. Well, the first game that we ever played when I came here was at Edwardsville. And I still have nightmares about that game. It was ugly, and they really handed it to us. Now, they had a great team that year and went on to do some good things in the OVC, but I was obviously going back down there. Some of those memories came back, but the kids took care of business. It was a good game for us. A lot of great things happened. And then we had the opportunity to go to Puerto Rico. You know, that was one of those trips that obviously was up in the air for a long time, but I think the ability that our kids had to impact the community in some way. And when we got there the first night, we had taken a lot of Christmas presents with us, a lot of toys. Different people in the department had donated apparel, and we had a big gift wrapping session that night, which was pretty entertaining to say the least. To watch these guys wrap gifts. I guarantee some of them had never done that before. But the kids didn't care. And then they were able to deliver them almost like Santa Claus in a big bag. And, you know, to really make a difference in those kids' holiday was pretty special. And it wasn't just obviously special for the kids at the Boys and Girls Club. It was obviously special for our group as well. We played 2 games down there, played Sacramento State and Albany. Both good games. We were able to handle Sacramento State pretty handily, and Albany was a great challenge for us. To be honest, it may have been one of the best games that we've played all year. A team that has gone to the NCAA tournament, I think they've won the last 6 conference titles, and really challenged us at every position, but they were big. And for us to be able to be physical and to compete in that game, I really did think prepared us well for the MAC. We've played 5 MAC games. Many of you, all of you probably were at the first 2 home games where we won by combined 4 points. We've played 3 games on the road and have lost 3 games by a combined total of 10 points. So as advertised, you know, the MAC has just been one of those leagues that night in and night out is going to be a battle. And you've seen it in other scores as well. The MAC right now is ranked as the 7th highest RPI league in the country. And everybody likes to talk about Power 5, Power 5, Power 5. Well, then we're at 7. That's pretty impressive. And it hasn't disappointed. A lot of those top teams have continued to be really, really good. And the Buffalo team that we beat here at home leads the way from an RPI standpoint. So, you know, we've talked a little bit, and I've talked to many of you about the situation that we're in right now from an injury standpoint. And as a coach, especially if you've done it as long as I have, there's years where that just happens. I don't know that I've had a year before where we've had such significant season-ending injuries and so many of them. But Deborah mentioned this, and I think really the thing that I'm most proud of with this group is they really have embraced the adversity, and it speaks well to how they feel about each other. The student athletes that have been injured have responded in a very positive way, only looking at it as something to go forward and be positive about and be great teammates and do what they can to help, even if they're not on the floor. And also those that are still in uniform. You know, we're down to nine healthy players. We started with 15. We absolutely started with 15. Deborah would like me to carry 16, but we started with 15. And to only have 9 in uniform on game day is pretty amazing. We do hope to get a couple, Aaron Hodges and Nicole, or are both slowly coming back from injury. Hopefully in the next couple weeks we have a couple more in uniform. And the beauty of that is, especially with young players, is it gives them the opportunity to get experience on the floor that they may not have gotten had the people in front of them not gotten hurt. Now, we don't want that to happen. Nobody ever wants that to happen. But if you want to look at the positive, there's going to be opportunities for people to really get a lot better in a hurry because we can put them in a game. It's different than practice, and I talk about it all the time. You know, Maya is a perfect example of this. You know, we were boasting about how deep we were going to be in the guard court this year. I was like, I don't know what we're going to do. We have all these kids, all these guards, and they're ready to go, and they're going to be great. And then, as luck would have it, those things changed. Maya was put in a position where she absolutely worked really hard with the ability to hopefully start, but definitely to play. And then when John A. went down, all of a sudden she went from, am I going to start, am I going to play, to we need you on the floor for 40 minutes. So I think those opportunities, and obviously she took full advantage of that, and her game went to a completely different level. I think you're going to see that with some of our younger kids now. Will that equate to wins every night? I don't know, but I can guarantee you that this team is going to fight every night. And we saw that on the road. You know, we turned around, we went to Western and got beat by 5, you know, in it the whole time, playing good basketball. Comes down to, everybody wants to look at the last few possessions of the ball game, but we talk all the time. There's possessions a lot earlier that can impact the game as well. And then we go to Toledo, which is an awesome place to play. It really is. I don't care if all 3,000 fans are cheering against you. The energy in the building is amazing. And again, it's a back and forth battle all the way. I was talking at the table over here when Courtney let that 3 fly in the corner from where I was standing. I mean, we're talking inches, and we're going to overtime. So I think all of those situations are positive. You know, everybody wants to win, and it doesn't diminish how bad I want to win or the team wants to win. But we're going to get our fair chances at winning because of how we're approaching the adversity the situation that we're in. Tomorrow night, we get an opportunity, and I say opportunity, to play Central Michigan. In my opinion, by far the best team in the league. You know, some people like to say Buffalo is. I would say probably not, but Felicia would not. Their coach would not want to hear that. But Central Michigan is really good. But the thing about making an impact in the league for farther down the road is you got to do what you can to take care of home court. And we're gonna fight just like every other night. I feel great about the opportunity. Again, you're going to see a great basketball team. Hopefully you're going to see 2 great basketball teams. But if we want to be relevant at the end of February and early March, then we got to do what we can to take care of things at home. So I'm excited about that. Again, I know the kids are excited about it. I say all the time, Central's the one team in the last 3 years that we haven't quite been able to get, but tomorrow night could be the night. Shifting gears a little bit, because I always like to throw this in between semesters. You know, this group, and you hear them, we hear the student athletes talk, they always come up and talk about, you know, what they're majoring in and why they chose NIU and some of the perks and the really special things they're doing academically. This team's fall GPA was a 3.37, and a lot of them are studying really difficult majors. So I'm always really proud of them, what they can do in the classroom as well. And it's always nice to see in between semesters that those numbers, everybody likes to look at GPA numbers. Sometimes I like to look at RPI numbers, but GPA numbers are nice. Are just as high. Georgia and Abby both had 4.0, so we're definitely moving in the right direction academically as well. Hopefully I didn't steal all of Maya's thunder, but obviously we like to bring a student athlete with us to these events. Maya was on the docket well before the knee took a shit. So she's like, Coach, what am I going to say? I'm like, you're going to talk just like you would any other time. What is it that brought you to NIU? What's special about this team? What's special about this place? I will say as far as Maya is concerned also, I don't know, to be honest with you, if I could handle the adversity of being so high and playing so well and then have that be taken away for the rest of the year as well as she has. We were talking a little bit after the injury. I said, "Are you okay?" She's like, "Well, I wasn't a little while ago, but I am now," and this was within hours. And to see how positive she's been with her teammates and being able to help them, because, again, there's other young players having to step up, and her being there for them has been really amazing to watch, and I'm sure not easy. And that speaks really to her character and how much she cares about the big picture and not just about herself. So I'm going to have Maya come up and talk a little bit. Hopefully I didn't make you cry. You be okay? All right, come on, Maya.
I'm going to stand on the side because I'm a little short. You may not be able to see me from back here, but let me just start off by saying that I know a couple of you heard me before, but I'm not a morning person. So, I was glad that I had this opportunity to come and talk to you guys, but if I had to choose later or now, it would definitely be later. But I'm Maya, I'm a sophomore. I would say the one thing that made me choose NIU was that I was close to home. I was recruited by another coaching staff, so it's kind of weird, but so I was sitting around when I first heard that everything was like happening. I didn't know what to think, and then they were like, well, they had to look for a new coach, and I was sitting around, I was kind of nervous. I didn't think that that I was going to be able to still come here. And I get a call from Coach Carlsen, and she's talking to me. And I was kind of nervous at first because I didn't know, like, if she saw me play before, if she heard about me or anything like that. But once I heard the words that, Maya, we want you to stay here, like, you would fit perfectly in our, the way we play. And I was like, well, this is great. I can stay home, had to do my research, see how Coach Carlsen was. I would say it's a blessing in disguise because she's a really good coach, and I had this opportunity to stay here. But I'm originally from Oswego, but I moved to Plainfield. So on the website it says I'm from Oswego, but on my thing before the game it says Maya from Plainfield, Illinois. So if anyone was confused about that, but I went to school, high school at Neuqua Valley. Which is 45 minutes away. And I'm glad that I was able to stay close to home and come here. The one thing that I do love about our team is that we're so close, and I just love the coaching staff because it's easy to talk to them. Most of them, we could just go in there and talk about anything. Maria coming on board this year. I didn't know how I felt about her, to be honest. But she's honestly one of my favorite coaches. I like to mess with her all the time. She has to jump in now because we only have 9 healthy bodies. And she would come in with her ankle socks on. And I'm like, Maria, let me help you out. But there's definitely been some huge changes that have happened over the last week or so. Unfortunately, one of my roommates, John A., she tore her ACL, and that's when I started to see my time on the court increase, and I was excited for the opportunity, and it also sucked for John A. She didn't obviously think that this was going to happen to her, but things happen for a reason. But I didn't know what to think because this is when I finally found out, I was like, man, I'm probably going to be playing the whole game, was when we played Chicago State. I had to press the whole game, and I was a little tired. I was like, man, I don't know if I can do this. But I'm like, Maya, you wanted this, so get your life together. And then after that, it got a lot better. So, I was used to it. But when I tore my ACL against Buffalo, I was like, you know what, this kind of sucks because I I was just getting comfortable. I was starting to get my groove back. And I was like, man, this sucks. I have to wait a whole another year. But you know what? Like I said before, I think things happen for a reason. And I know that me and John A. are going to come back stronger than ever. And I'm excited to see what happens for me. But not just talking about me, there's been so many things that have changed and people have to step up. I know Coach Carlsen was like, you got to help your girl out, Paulina. You got to help her out. I was like, you know what? Paulina's going to be fine. She's just like me. Like, when I first started seeing the court, I was a little nervous. You know, I had to get comfortable. But I was like, I know the more time she spends on the court, the more time she's going to get comfortable. And that's for anyone else on the team. Like, in the beginning, it was kind of shaky for Gabby. But since Gabby's been on the court, you see what she doesn't like. What we know she knows how to do. Like in practice, Gabby's she's shooting her three, she's getting to the basket, she's making passes, and you don't necessarily see that in the game because, I mean, I don't know, nerves, but you definitely see the Gabby we know she could be. And also other people playing different positions. Like, I want to say against Toledo, we had so many different people bringing up the ball. You got Gabby, you got Mick, you got Paulina, and they definitely stepped up, and everyone's doing different things that they necessarily didn't have to do in the beginning. But you see us adapting to the injuries that we have. So, I mean, it's definitely good to see everyone doing what they can. And the games have been close. You know, we can pull it out, just like the little things at the end that we have to fix. But there's no doubt in my mind that we'll get it together and that we'll see some more better outcomes.
Before I introduce my friends, does anybody have any questions for me?
Central is physical as Buffalo?
I would say Central is not as physical, but they're just more skilled. They're not going to be as handsy, you know. I think Central relies on their skill set, especially from their top five, to be really good. It's not just, they're not going to try and push you around near as much. I mean, we'll have to be good in all areas, but they're different. They are different.
How do you feel about Castro coming back in after her bout last year? She's getting more time, it seems, that you're playing her a little bit more.
Well, anything good that happens to Paulina is an awesome thing. You know, the thing about Paulina is she, from everything that she's gone through, medically she's cleared to do anything she can. Do I still think that she is going to get better, like stronger and things like that? Absolutely. But from a mentality standpoint, she's great, and she is willing and ready to do anything that we ask.
Well, we've seen her seem to get stronger and more time since the beginning of the season.
You know what you're going to get with Paulina. She's somebody who is, if you give her an open look from three, she's going to knock it down. You know, again, before we're asking her to play off the ball a little bit, and now we're asking her to play on the ball a little bit more, just like we are anybody. So it's going to be an adjustment. But Paulina, just like the other, three people on the bench, are ready and willing and to do whatever we ask them to do.
You have to be happy with your guard play after losing the lieutenant.
I really thought our guard play to start the year was going to be a huge strength for us, and it still will be. It'll probably even be better now because some of those kids that are going to get an opportunity now that maybe wouldn't have before. I think, again, as we get healthy, whether that's 3 weeks from now or a year from now, it's going to be a huge strength of ours. And if we want to continue to play fast, which we do, guard play is a huge piece of that. So it's not all doom and gloom. I mean, it's rough for these kids, but it's not, we're going to be okay. We're going to bounce back, and we're going to be okay. The program's in a good place right now. Anything else?
This girl with Mia, was she falling in the class of red shirt this year?
Maya won't get her year back because it's too late. Johnay will get her year back because it happened so early. So I mean, again, John A. will end up actually being a sophomore. Maya will still move on as a junior, eligibility-wise. Anything else? All right, then I'm going to introduce Sam. I'll let you go first. Sam Moriali is in his 6th year as the gymnastics head coach. Obviously, he was an assistant. He was a student athlete here, a true Husky through and through. Been here a lot longer than most of us. But, the thing I love about Sam, and to be honest, I don't know a lot about gymnastics. I do enjoy watching it because I think it's very entertaining. I don't know anything about it. So every time they compete, I'm like, so are you happy? Are you not happy? Like, is that a good number? So he tries to educate me in little small doses. But he's also a huge fan. I mean, you see him at basketball, you see him at volleyball, you see him at football, you see him at games all the time. And that's why I'm sure he's a good gymnastics coach, which is great, but that's why I love him. He's a true Husky. Sam Moriali.
Thanks, Lisa. All right, so we'll try to go quick so you guys don't have to waste too much of your morning. But thank you, Lisa, for inviting us to come out, and Deborah for setting this kind of stuff up. As a department, these are all super things. And like Lisa said, I am a huge fan. I love what you've done with the team. I love how competitive they are. They're fun to watch. So I'm looking forward to the rest of the season and watching you do some magic. Sorry for you. Injuries are never good. And as fans, continue to pull for the whole team because that's huge, and you'll probably speak to it. They feel your guys' energy down on the court. So that's a big thing, too. Another thing I love about basketball is in my sport, I can't say anything to my officials, my judges. It's against our rules, but I can sit in the front row and yell at a basketball game, and I love it. So if you hear somebody yelling, it's probably me, because, yeah, it's one of those things in our sport we can't get on. My sport is subjective, so sometimes that's challenging for us, but it kind of is what it is. A little bit about my team. Like Lisa, we are in season, so the kids and the athletes don't really get a Christmas break. My kids got 5-6 days to go home during break to enjoy time with their family. But right after finals, we were here for a week and a half. We came back on the 28th, kind of trained through to our first day. With school starting this week, they've been training all the way since Christmas time. We are 2 weeks in. Week 1 didn't go as well as planned. We competed well, and as my buddy here pointed out and my boss pointed out, we fell too many times, which was true. We did fall too many times, but we competed very well, but didn't come away with a win. So that was tough being at home, just because last year we were undefeated at home. So that was something we were kind of chasing again this year. Second weekend, just this past weekend, we went up to Minnesota. Competed in a quad meet against Minnesota, Maryland, Winona, and us, and ended up beating Winona but lost to the other two teams. Had a huge increase in what we were able to do from week 1 to week 2 as far as how we performed, what we scored, so we were really happy about that. Definitely saw the team finally got into a little bit of a groove. And we saw the team we see at practice, and that's kind of what we've been stressing since the beginning of the year. Sometimes when you get in a game or you get in a meet, you change and you try harder and you do things differently. And as coaches, that's kind of one of the biggest things we stress is just kind of have fun like you do in practice. So we were able to do that in Minnesota. 2,500 people were at that meet watching, which was kind of cool. So it's a great environment for our kids to get into because that's not a normal kind of realm for a gymnastics fandom. That's what we want, so come on out. Moving forward, this weekend we go to Kent State, who were preseason favorites to win the MAC. So that'll be our first MAC slate, our first, not that all our meets aren't tests, but our first test to see. This team, we've talked about being MAC champs since the beginning of training. So this will be a step in that direction. We've never beat them at home, so that's another huge feather we're trying to go after to kind of take them down. And they've been historically cream of the crop in our conference. So if we can get up against them and show what we can do, we feel like we can beat them. But we're going to need to put a pretty perfect meet together. After that, next weekend, our next home match is next Sunday, the 28th, against Central, who is also as in basketball. In gymnastics, they're also kind of cream of the crop. So we got 2 pretty tough weeks here in the MAC just to kind of see where we stand. And if our plan is to come out of these 2 weeks 2-0, really getting after it with those guys. The cool thing about that meet on the 28th is it's also a wrestling combination, Beauty and the Beast we're doing. So that's a lot of fun too. 2 totally separate things that'll happen simultaneously. So it's similar to a circus, a lot of stuff going on at one time. So bring the whole family, bring the grandkids. There'll be a lot going on. A lot of good energy. Convocation Center is a pretty good place to compete when there's some people in there cheering for you. So we're looking forward to that. Again, thank you guys for your continued support of Husky Athletics and for being patient and listening to us other coaches talk about our sports. But thank you guys very much.
Thanks, Sam. This is double the pleasure today. We brought 2 head coaches with us. Kim Kester is here with the women's golf program, also in her 6th year, I believe. And we still love her, even though she's a Toledo grad. It's a little hard for me to say that right now, but we still love her. So Kim's going to come and talk about where we're at with women's golf.
Thanks, Lisa, for having me. Yes, unfortunately, fortunately, I don't know that I am a Toledo grad, so next game, please, ladies, help me out get the bragging rights on them. So I know their basketball staff a little bit, so I always, when you guys win, I like to give it to them and let them know that you guys had the upper hand on them. So, but yeah, we start season today. I think I really need to point out Andrew Frames here. He's the assistant for both the men's and women's program. He kind of keeps us all in line. He's the calming force. I'm a little more high-strung and excited with the ladies, so he helps us out, does a great job, and thanks for being here, Andrew. We appreciate it. We start today. We're a very young squad. We graduate 1, Evelyn Brand. She's student teaching this semester, so we really don't see her. So out of the travelers, we're not really going to lose anybody. So the outlook's going to look great for us the next couple of years. We started, so we're a split season. We have a fall season, take December off, start again today and go till the end of April. Our first event out in the fall was at Illinois State, and we ended up winning that one. So it was nice to start the year, give some of the younger kids a little bit of taste of winning, what it's like, and they're kind of hooked on it, which is a good thing. So we'll start today. We leave in 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks for Florida. So our spring schedule, we kind of get out of this junk. We're going to head down to Bradenton, Florida area. We're going to play a match play event. So 7 other teams. Biggest competition there for us is going to be Kent State, and they're top 25 in the country right now. They've won the MAC the past 18 years, I think. Yeah. So when we matched up with them a couple years ago in the match play event and took them to the last hole, and they ended up birdieing their last 2 holes to win against us. So we want a little revenge on them. Our girls are excited to compete against them. We want to be that team that upsets them. They've been a powerhouse for ages now. They finished in the top 8 at national championships out at Rich Harvest last year. So, we always talk about we want to be that team that upsets them and, really put it out there that the MAC is strong all across the board. It's just not one team. So after match play, we'll head to Arizona. Had good success there last year. Nice and warm. No, we go to Vegas, then Arizona. So, yeah. Yeah, so. Hey, we're outdoor sport. Temperature's always changing. So, so our first 3 events are going to look good for us. It's hard to say how we're going to do, coming off of some time off, but all the girls have played this winter, which we haven't had in the past, so things are looking brighter for us. From fall to spring, our GPA was 3.67, so not only are they doing it on the golf course, but they're getting it done in the classroom, which as coaches you like to see. As Coach Carlsen said, we look at the statistics of the athlete side, and we leave the academics to our academic coordinators, and they definitely put the kids on the right path to success. This year, the biggest thing for us is hosting MAC championships at the end of April. April 20th through the 22nd, we're going to be at Naperville Country Club. So this is our chance to win it on home turf, so to speak. It's got to be at a neutral site, so that's why we chose Naperville Country Club. The MAC makes you go to a neutral site, and it changes every year. So come on out. If you want to volunteer, let us know. We're going to have some opportunities there. We'll release those probably in the next month and a half. But right now we're picked third in the MAC. As we saw last year, rankings really didn't matter. We were ranked 5th or 6th, and we finished 2nd. So it's anybody's game any day. So we're really excited to that. And we hope to see you guys out. And thanks, everybody, for their support. Ruth, thank you and the ladies at Kish. We love seeing you every time we're out there. And our ladies talk about it all the time, how welcoming the Kish group ladies are, and thank everybody for your support.
All right. Thank you. That was great. So remember that thing, right? So we're touring that around, and the cool part about that thing with these coaches that were here, both of them finished 2nd last year, as you remember, and really propelled the winter, and then women's basketball finished 4th. So really got us into the situation where we could really take care of it in the spring, which we did, and they're sitting there. So don't forget, that's going around, and actually Sam's meet, the Beauty and the Beast meet, we're going to bring it to that event as well. So, and we might do something special to highlight it, get the tour back going again. So appreciate the coaches being here. One of the also opportunities this year, we were able to cycle in all of the coaches for the copy of Carlsen. We only have 5 shows. We were able to cycle in all the coaches, and I think that's really important, and I appreciate the head coach's support in making that happen. Okie dokie. So raffle. You're like, stop talking. Let's go to the raffle. All right, raffle. So with the raffle, you also get as many tickets as you want from Coach Carlsen. Nope, they're right here. Come get these. So if you win the raffle, you also have the opportunity to take some of these tickets for Wednesday, tomorrow, and then you have to find someone to give them to. Just walk up and down Lincoln Highway. Figure it out. All right, here we go. We don't care who it is. All right, so the first winner, see if Sally wins again, so she can get the right size shirt, 294592. Whoop, there we go. All right, so Price is Right. Please go get something that fits. I tell you what, if you're first, you should get that little water bottle, the gymnastics thing. That's awesome. If you don't get it, I'm going to steal it. That's awesome. All right. Next, yeah, also available for purchase as well, apparently. 294575. Oh, winner table. Uh-oh. Sorry. Not doing a good job here. All right, see if I can get a different table. All right, 294603. 603. Hello? 294603. No one? Did you win? Gary Evans won. He just barely figured it out because he's not wearing his glasses. So
not a numbers guy.
Works at a bank. All right. The last winner for today, 294593. 294593. Yeah. Oh gosh. Okay, so next month, you know where to sit, right? Okay. All right, so next few times to see women's basketball. Tomorrow night, bring friends. Coach, did you give all your tickets away?
No, I have some left.
Okay, she has some left, so make that happen. Also, radio show is Thursday at Rosati's at 7 o'clock. That's actually pretty fun, and they have pretty good pizza, so take a look at that. The next copy of the Carlsen is February 13th, and Coach Sutt finally gets an opportunity to come here and talk to everyone, not just her friends back there. And then another opportunity we're going to push out today or tonight, tomorrow, whenever. You've noticed there's some folks at courtside. In fact, Mr. McMahon has donated in and gotten to sit there and brought his daughter. I love seeing you there too. That's fun. But we do sell courtside, and we are going to sell it on game-by-game basis. So tomorrow night, if you want to sit courtside, come see me and I'll make it happen. Or for the rest of the season, we have 7 home games left. Is that right? 7? How many, Coach? Do you know?
No, we play tomorrow night.
7. We're going to have a reduced price for the rest of the season to help us get through Maction. So if you're interested or someone that you know interested, going to come really give the officials a hard time down on the court side, that's where you really do it, right? I mean, I sat there, what game was that? A couple games ago, and I got to yell at the officials. So that was a really exciting time. That's it. We have, again, so many things going on. Stay warm, stay safe, no accidents, and we'll see you in just about a month. Okay? Go Huskies.